Don't you ever get scared when you're out like that, all alone in nature? That's a common question, and one I always answer with, no, not at all. The further away I am from everyone and everything, the safer I feel. But that's not the whole truth. It's true that I feel safe out in nature. You see, it's not nature or wildlife I'm afraid of. It's people. And I do things to make me feel safer. For example, I always make sure to camp a place where I'm almost certain nobody else will come. And I don't make a fire when I'm out alone, because the fire could reveal my position. I don't want anyone to know where I am and get the idea to come visit. This is a topic I brought up in my previous video from the perspective of being a solo female overlander and the risk being robbery or assault. I got a lot of feedback after that video, and I want to read some of the comments I got. Simsam says, safety and security tips are always useful, not only for women. Also as a man, discreet, quiet, away from the crowd, and also quick back on the way. About being quick back on the way, I don't have that opportunity with this setup. I have to go out from the back to get up in front and drive away. Utah 62 says, as far as safety is concerned, as you know, we went to Sweden at the beginning of June with our FJ cruiser and rooftop tent. We stayed mostly at campsites, but also spent 2 nights off-grid. It was our first time doing this, and we were staying in very remote places. We never felt unsafe, although you do look up at every sound simply because you're not used to it. Because wild camping is allowed almost everywhere in Sweden, you don't really think about the possibility of being robbed or anything like that. In France and Spain, I would feel less comfortable. And yes, I really do get that. And that's such a big positive thing for Sweden. It is that it is possible to get far away, far out in nature. And it's possible to wild camp far away from the more populated areas. And I do get that. I feel so much more safe here in Sweden than I do further down in Europe. That's for sure. The more people, the more unsafe I feel. Big Boy Adventure says, safety is a topic I thought would rarely come up for overlanding in Sweden, but thank you for bringing it up. While I'm not a woman, I always keep a headlamp, a flashlight, and a knife close at hand when I go to sleep. I always consider the fire issue because of the smoke exposing my camp spot, but I never looked at it from a safety perspective. It looks like I should start considering that now. Generally, whenever I go overlanding with my young son or occasionally with my wife, I try to keep a safety margin like the one I mentioned above. However, up until now, I always thought it was just overthinking or being overprepared, especially since we are in Sweden. Again, I really do get that we feel safe here in Sweden. But this brings me up to the next point I would love to bring up. How do you feel as a man if you have kids or women with you? I would love to know if you feel you need to protect them. I've never felt the need to have a man to protect me. I have always been very self-reliant. Ever since I was a kid, I would hike up in the mountains just all by myself, all alone. Again, nature has never been a concern and never been anything I or my parents, for that matter, have been afraid of. So being out alone in nature has always been natural for me. As a kid, I got to learn to shoot. At a very young age, I could handle weapon. I also went to self-defense courses, so I got to learn how to defend myself. I feel I am equipped to handle situation if they come up. Also, my travel companion is my dog, and he is a very good guard dog. He will bark if someone is approaching. And having my dog with me does make me feel more safe. But I've always been a tomboy, and I've always been spending my time out in nature where I feel at home. And I think that's a big part of it to why I feel safe here. Compared to others that might have grown up in a city, and that's their natural environment, and that's where they feel safe, surrounded by people. So of course it also depends on what you are afraid of, because I think many, especially women, are afraid of being alone. But yeah, as mentioned, that is not the case for me. I made a post on my Patreon. I will link to my Patreon down below so you can check it out, where I bring up this topic. So I would love for you to comment on this under this video down below, but also head on over to my Patreon if you feel that's a more safe space to write about this topic. But yeah, I would love to hear from you one way or the other. I would love to know what you do to feel safe out like this in nature. And this does not have to be in Sweden. This can be anywhere in the world. Whether or not you are a man or a woman, I would really love to hear from you about this topic.